Very, 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 very wise, because it is certainly an uphill battle. Now, you are a prolific creator. Obviously, Tagged won our 2008 Trick of the Year tournament. Congratulations again on that. Thank you for being part of the production there. Now, in your own creative mind, when do you decide when a trick is ready, let's just say for this question, for release? You know, you think of it, you perform it. When do you want to put it out to the general public?
That's a good question. And I'll answer that as honestly as I can without getting into the business side of what I do. That particular effect, unlike some of the others that are coming out, I was almost cornered and forced to release it in a sense. I would kind of been itching to do it for quite a while because I wanted to get credit for something that I created. I've been sitting on a lot of just unique material that I use in my own act and you know, et cetera, et cetera. But that particular effect, the Tagged, there were so many effects coming on the market that related to tattoos. I had so many emails over the last 3 or 4 years about people asking about, you know, hey, can I buy the rights to it? You know, a lot of magicians and things. I felt like the timing was right because I had been doing it in my own act for a long, long time. But there's other effects like Serial Biller that's coming out in a couple of months with Illusionist. I created that, you know, 8 years ago, whatever it was, and I've been doing it in my act. I wouldn't mind at all sharing that with other magicians because it's a different system. It's just a different kind of effect. And I don't know, it just, as long as I've worked out the kinks, it's been polished and I enjoy doing it. I don't mind sharing it as long as people do it right. I mean, I don't know. There's really not a timeline for me. I used to never, ever share at all because I create a lot of my own stuff. And it just kind of was hard for me to, that give and take. I've always kind of been awkward with that. And I've come a long way with that. Now that magicians share with me, I can share with them. And I've kind of turned a whole new leaf with that whole entire process. So for me, it's all a new world, to tell you the truth. But it started with my poker DVDs and then Tagged and then the dollar effects. And then we're coming out with some mentalist effects. And I don't know, the timing's just right because I feel like I have enough under my belt that I feel like if I share this stuff, it just pushes me to be a better magician and performer and creator. So I don't know. I think if I had those 3 effects that just came out under my belt as a 22-year-old, I probably wouldn't have been ready to share them because that would have been all I knew. But now that I have a base of things and I feel like I'm funny and I take care of my clients and my audience and all that stuff, I think that, hey, it's time to share it because I think it's time to have the magic community go full circle and push each other, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like we put out material and then it helps. I see people do it. They come back with ideas to tweak it more, which helps push me. And it just we just go full circle, which is really cool.
All right, kind of a spin-off question from there. You mentioned that you've very recently just kind of come out of your shell and be able to ask advice from other kind of people. What are the qualities that you kind of look for in someone to take advice from? What do you think that, you know, the perspective that maybe you want fresh looks on? What qualities do you seek?
I'm all over the map at this point. I mean, it's really weird at 40 years old almost to be interested in magic at a level that a lot of the up-and-coming guys are because I was backwards. I created the process first, learned how to entertain kind of at the same time, then got into magic as a third type of thing. So I kind of came into it backwards. But I'm meeting people, you know, like Jason England, Jonathan Pendragon, these people who are extremely well-read, extremely knowledgeable, and it blows my mind. And I aspire, I respect that because I don't know much about the history of magic and who developed what effects and all that kind of stuff. I just know process, and that's kind of how I tick. So I'm totally inspired by people like that from the just pure knowledge standpoint, but I'm also inspired by people like Andrew Goldenhirsch or I don't even know, like, Paul Draper I just met recently at the Magic Castle who performs at Venetian. So polished. I mean, these guys are just so eloquent with what they do, which is a different style from me because I'm kind of free-flowing, chaotic, you know, smart-ass style.
Yeah.
And I kind of wing it. And I just like to have a really good time with my audience. But then there's the other people that are so good at just putting the magic together in a story and a timeline. And it's just, to me, that itself is magical. Put the sleight of hand and the skills aside, just the structure of their shows is so professional that it's very cool. So I'm meeting these people from all kind of different standpoints in magic, and it inspires me a lot. So, yeah.
Very, very cool. All right, one final question before we get you out of here. How did you decide to go pro? And what we like to do with this question is try to pinpoint it down to the day, the hour, the second when you decided that it was not like well, maybe I would like to do this, but like I'm paying rent on my magic. That this is a money thing that I'm gonna survive on magic. When did you decide that?
Totally. No, I actually I have an answer for that one, and
Good.
I know the actual definitive point, and that was when I was about 23 years old. My good friend got married, and he asked me to come to his wedding reception. And he said, "Could you walk around and mess with my family and friends?" And I said, "No, that's horrible. What a horrible thing to do." I said, "I do this stuff on my own without people knowing I'm going to do it because it's fun for me." He's like, "No, you're so good. You're such a good magician." And that was one of the first times I heard that word out of someone's mouth.
Yeah.
He said, "You're such a good magician." And I had never read a magic book, been to a magic shop, or studied magic of one any kind ever at all. But I had had a huge base of magic already with psychology and pickpocketing and everything I did that I just kind of made up. So, anyways, I went to the wedding reception, and it was here locally in San Luis Obispo at this resort called the Cliffs. And I walked around, and I had a freaking blast. It was so fun for the first time in my life to do it to perfect strangers with the pretense that, hey, let me show you something, as opposed to let me get away with something without you knowing.
Yeah.
It was so cool. It was absolutely a turning point that night. So I walked up to people and I took a watch. I messed with their heads. I just did silly stuff, and I actually had a couple people that night ask me how I got into magic, how much do I charge, and all this kind of stuff, and it blew my mind. So I really had to sit back and think about that from a professional standpoint after his wedding, and I really thought, wow, I really have something here. I enjoy doing it. I absolutely love it. I love messing with people. Maybe I can turn this into a career. So that probably month, I think, I went down to the city and I think I got a business license. I don't know, probably in '94, and became a professional magician overnight, and literally overnight, because I had such a base of comedy and pickpocketing and different things I did. I just did it. I just went for it, 100% full speed ahead. So definitely, it was just throwing myself into the trenches is what made it happen. Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's one thing that I knew going into this interview is that it wasn't going to be the same answers that we've got in the past. So I very much thank Rich Ferguson for taking part in this iTricks interview. Where can people see more of your stuff, Rich?
I'm sorry?
Where can people see more of your stuff?
As far as where I'm performing or effects coming out on the market?
Effects coming out, more information on you, the whole shebang. Let's get it out there.
Yeah, well, effects coming to the market. I have a little contract with a little company called Illusionist, and they're kicking some butt. And we have a few effects coming to the market this year, and some more to follow. So there's DVD releases coming throughout the year through Illusionist. They can see more there. And then as far as me, they can see me, at my website, richferguson.com, and there's lots of videos there and a schedule of where, if anyone's in the area wants to catch me, definitely doing a lot of events, mostly are private, but a whole heck of them at benefits and nonprofit events and things like that, which I'm heavily involved with. So I'd just say just go to my website, definitely, richferguson.com.
Fantastic. All right, everybody, thank you very, very much for watching. We'll see you next time on the iTricks interview.